My business collapsed and I lost my house overnight. I went to my son's place, hoping to stay for a few days. He said, "Dad, my wife isn't comfortable having you here." That night I slept in my car. The next morning, a butler called me. He said his employer, a dying billionaire, had requested to see me before signing his will. I'm Doug Kennedy, 58 years old, and I never thought I'd be telling this story. But here we are. You know how they say your whole life can change in an instant? Well, mine changed over about 6 weeks, and it wasn't pretty. One day I'm running Kennedy Construction, the company I built from scratch 35 years ago, and the next I'm staring at foreclosure papers, wondering where the hell it all went wrong. The lawsuit from the Morrison Project was what finally killed me. Their foundation cracked because of soil problems nobody could have predicted, but they came after me anyway. $2.1 million judgment. My insurance company found some technical loophole and hung me out to dry. Just like that, everything I'd worked for was gone. But here's the real kicker, and this is the part that still gets my blood boiling. My own son, Brad, had a hand in finishing me off. What I didn't know until it was too late was that Brad had been using my business credit to secure some personal loans. Nothing illegal, technically, since I'd co-signed for him years back when he was starting out. But when my company went under, guess who was still on the hook for his $47,000 in debt? That's right, me. So there I was, 58 years old, homeless, with $127 in my checking account and nowhere to go. Naturally, I thought about my son. Brad lived in this nice colonial house about 20 minutes from where I used to live, back when I had a place to live. He's got a good job in marketing, married to a sweet girl named Stephanie, who works as a nurse. They're doing well for themselves. I figured I'd crash on their couch for a week, maybe 2, just until I could figure out my next move. Get back on my feet. That's what family's for, right? Wrong. I showed up at Brad's door on a Tuesday afternoon with one suitcase and whatever pride I had left. Brad opened the door and I could tell right away something was off. He looked nervous, kept glancing back into the house. "Hey, Dad," he said, "I thought you weren't coming until the weekend. Plans changed," I told him. "Is this a bad time?" That's when Stephanie appeared behind him. Now, Stephanie's always been good to me. She's the kind of girl who remembers your birthday and asks about your health. But even she looked uncomfortable, Doug. She said, "Brad told me about what happened with the business. I'm so sorry. Thanks, sweetheart. I was hoping I could crash here for a few days, just until I get back on my feet." Brad and Stephanie exchanged one of those married couple looks where a whole conversation happens in about 2 seconds. Then Brad cleared his throat. "Dad, we need to talk about this. Come inside." So we sat in their living room, all of us on edge, and Brad gave me the speech I never saw coming. "Dad," he said, "you're 58 years old. Maybe it's time you learned some independence." I blinked at him. "Independence? Look, I know this sounds harsh, but I have my own family to think about now. Stephanie and we're building our future. We can't keep carrying me." I felt like I was in some alternate universe. "Son, I've been supporting myself since before you were born. I put you through college. I co-signed your first car loan, helped with your down payment on this house. And I appreciate all that," Brad said. "But your business problems aren't my responsibility. You had 35 years to plan better. Maybe this crisis will finally teach you some financial responsibility." I looked at Stephanie, hoping she'd say anything. She opened her mouth like she wanted to protest, but Brad cut her off. "Stay out of this, Steph. This is between me and Dad." That's when it hit me. My own son, the boy I'd taught to ride a bike, helped with homework, took to ball games every weekend, was throwing me out. Not just throwing me out, but lecturing me about responsibility while he did it. "There's a motel about 10 minutes away," Brad continued. "Nothing fancy, but it'll work until you figure out your next steps." I stood up slowly, my knees creaked a little. Getting old, you know, I see. "Dad, don't take this personally. It's just we have to think about our future. We can't enable your poor financial planning. Enable, like I was some kind of addict." I picked up my suitcase and headed for the door. "Take care of yourself, son. You too, Dad. And hey, once you get settled somewhere permanent, we'd love to have you over for dinner. Maybe next month. Next month when I wouldn't be inconveniencing them anymore." The motel was full. So was the next one. And the one after that. Some kind of conference in town, and every room was booked. By 8 o'clock that night, I was parked behind Murphy's Diner, trying to figure out how to sleep in a Honda Civic when you're 6'1". Ever tried sleeping in a compact car? It's not fun. Every time I started to doze off, some truck would pull in and wake me up with their headlights. But the worst part wasn't the cramped muscles or the cold, it was lying there thinking about Brad's words. Financial responsibility. Poor planning. Like 35 years of hard work meant nothing. Like losing everything in a lawsuit was somehow my fault. Around 3 in the morning, I started wondering if maybe he was right. Maybe I had been too soft on him growing up. His mother Helen always said I spoiled him, but I figured that's what dads do. Provide for their kids. Make their lives easier than ours were. Guess I never taught him that sometimes family means sacrifice. The next morning, I cleaned up in the diner's bathroom and ordered coffee I couldn't really afford. That's when my phone rang, unknown number. Is this Doug Kennedy? Yeah, who's this? My name is Vincent Torres. I work for Mr. Richard Mason. He'd like to meet with you this morning if you're available. Richard Mason? Never heard of him. Mr. Mason has been quite specific about wanting to meet with you. He's not in the best health and time is precious. Would 10 a.m. work? I looked around the diner. It's not like I had anywhere else to be. What's this about? I'm afraid I can't discuss details over the phone. But Mr. Mason is prepared to compensate you for your time. Would $500 be acceptable for a 1-hour meeting? $500? That was more money than I'd seen in weeks, where Vincent gave me an address in Brookhaven Heights. That's where the $1 million houses are. I plugged it into my phone and saw it was about 15 minutes away. I'll be there. The Mason estate was something else. Iron gates with an intercom system, long winding driveway through what looked like a private park. The house itself was massive, probably 15,000 square feet of stone and glass overlooking the valley. Vincent met me at the front door. Tall guy, maybe 50, dressed in a suit that probably cost more than my car. Professional but friendly. Mr. Kennedy, thank you for coming, Mr. Mason is waiting in his study. He led me through rooms that belonged in a magazine. Every piece of furniture looked like it was worth more than I used to make in a month. We ended up in a smaller room lined with bookshelves where an elderly man sat behind a huge wooden desk. Richard Mason looked like he was dying, no other way to put it. Thin as a rail, pale skin. But his eyes were sharp, alert. He studied me like he was trying to solve a puzzle. Doug Kennedy, he said. His voice was stronger than he looked. Please, sit down. I took the chair across from his desk. Mr. Mason, I have to ask, do we know each other? Because I'm pretty sure we've never met. He smiled. Tell me, Doug, do you remember a rainy night 8 years ago? October 15th, Route 47, just outside town. My stomach dropped. I hadn't thought about that night in years, but suddenly it all came rushing back. The rain, the curve, the car coming straight at me in my lane. How do you know about that? Because I was in the BMW that went off the road. The guy I pulled out of the creek. You remember now, he said, watching my face. Of course I remembered. The BMW had been hydroplaning, completely out of control. I'd swerved to avoid a head-on collision, hit the guardrail. The other car went right through and down into Miller's Creek, about 20 feet down. You climbed down that embankment in the rain, Richard continued. Pulled me out of a car that was filling with water, stayed with me until the ambulance came. Anyone would have done the same thing. No, Doug, they wouldn't have. The police report said 4 other cars passed the scene before you stopped. 4 people who saw my headlights in the water and kept driving. I shifted in the chair. This was getting uncomfortable. Why didn't you ever contact me afterward? He asked. Wasn't my business. You were alive. That's what mattered. Richard leaned back in his wheelchair. Do you know what I was doing that night? Why I was driving in weather like that? I shook my head. I was running away from everything. My business was about to collapse due to some environmental violations that could have sent me to prison. I was scared, panicked, driving to the airport to catch the first flight out of the country. The room was quiet except for the sound of rain starting to hit the windows. The accident changed everything, he continued. While I was recovering, my lawyers found a way to clean up the mess. The charges were dropped. By the time I was back on my feet, I had a second chance to build something better. He reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a thick folder. Mason Development is worth $125 million today. Real estate, commercial properties, investments. All of it exists because you gave me that second chance. Mr. Mason, I appreciate the gratitude, but I'm dying, Doug. Pancreatic cancer. Doctors give me 6 weeks, maybe 8. And before I go, I need to settle my debts. He pushed the folder across the desk toward me. This is my will. As of yesterday, you are the primary beneficiary of my estate. I stared at the papers. What? Everything, Doug. The business, the properties, the investments. It's all yours. That's impossible. You have family. I can't. I have 2 children who haven't spoken to me in 3 years except when they want money. They're waiting for me to die so they can inherit enough to support their spending habits. Neither of them was in that creek 8 years ago, Mr. Mason Richard. And yes, you can because it's already done. The papers are filed. I looked at the legal documents, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Numbers with lots of zeros. Why? Because in 30 years of business, you're the only person who ever showed me genuine kindness without wanting something in return. You risked your life for a complete stranger and never asked for anything back. Richard reached for another folder, this one with my name on it. I've been keeping track of you, Doug. Not in a creepy way, he added quickly, but I wanted to know how you were doing. I know about your business, the lawsuit, losing your house. My blood went cold. How much do you know? I know you went to your son for help 2 days ago. I know what he said to you. He opened the folder and pulled out what looked like a small recording device. I also know what he said after you left. Before I could object, he pressed play. Brad's voice filled the room, crystal clear. Finally, maybe this will teach him some real responsibility for once. Then, Stephanie, Brad, that seemed harsh. He's your father, and I'm his son, not his retirement plan. Look, I love Dad, but he's never learned to plan ahead. Maybe if we don't enable him, he'll finally figure it out. But where's he supposed to go? That's his problem to solve. Stephanie, I've been planning for our future, and that doesn't include supporting a 58-year-old man who should have his life together by now. Richard stopped the recording. I felt sick. There's more, he said quietly. Your son has been researching your financial situation for almost 2 years. He's been planning how to spend his inheritance while you were still working 60-hour weeks. Why are you telling me this? Because you need to understand who these people really are before you make any decisions about your future. Richard pulled out another document. Your son owes $84,000 in various debts. Credit cards, personal loans, the money you co-signed for. He's 3 months behind on his mortgage. They're facing foreclosure. Then why wouldn't he help me if he understands what it's like to struggle? Because admitting he needed help would mean admitting he was wrong. And Brad is never wrong. The old man's expression was sad but firm. I've seen this before, Doug. People who take and never give back. Your son has spent his whole life believing the world owes him something because you taught him it did. That hit me like a punch to the gut. I thought about Brad as a little boy, following me around job sites in his tiny hard hat. When had that admiration turned into resentment? What happens now? I asked. Now you decide what kind of life you want to build, without having to depend on people who see you as a burden. Richard died 3 days later. Peaceful, Vincent told me. The will reading was scheduled for the following Friday. I spent those days in a decent hotel room, trying to wrap my head around what was happening. Part of me still couldn't believe it was real. Friday morning, I found myself in a conference room at Nelson Brooks' law firm, fancy place, all mahogany and leather. Richard's kids were there, Paul and Carol Mason. Both in their 30s, both looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. Nelson Brooks was exactly what you'd expect from a high-end lawyer. Gray hair, expensive suit, voice that commanded attention. We're here for the reading of Richard Mason's last will and testament, he began. Mr. Mason made some significant changes in the weeks before his death. Paul leaned forward. What kind of changes? The previous will left the bulk of the estate to his children. The new will supersedes that entirely. Carol looked up from her phone. What do you mean? Nelson opened his folder and started reading. To my son Paul, who has called me exactly 12 times in the past 2 years, each time to ask for money, I leave $50,000. To my daughter Carol, who has shown more interest in my bank account than my health, I leave $50,000. Both siblings started talking at once, but Nelson continued reading. The remainder of Richard Mason's estate, valued at approximately $125 million, is left to Doug Kennedy, the only person who ever risked something for me without expecting anything in return. Nobody said a word. Who the hell is Doug Kennedy? Paul finally asked. According to your father's documentation, Mr. Kennedy saved his life 8 years ago in a car accident. This is insane, Carol snapped. He leaves $125 million to some random stranger. Not random, I said quietly. I pulled your father out of a creek when his car went through a guardrail. He would have drowned. So what? Paul stood up. You did what any decent person would do. That doesn't mean you deserve our inheritance. I didn't ask for this, I said. I didn't even know who your father was until last week. Nelson handed me an envelope with my name on it. Your father requested this be read aloud. I opened it and read, Doug, if you're reading this, Then Paul and Carol have just learned that years of treating their father like an ATM have finally caught up with them. They're probably calling you a con man right about now. Don't listen to them. You earned this 8 years ago when you risked your life for a stranger, and you've proven you deserve it every day since by living with integrity. I looked up. Both siblings were staring at me with pure hatred. This isn't over, Paul said as they stormed out. But it was over. The will was bulletproof. The money was real, and for the first time in months, I wasn't afraid of tomorrow. My phone rang that afternoon, Brad's name on the screen. Dad, I just heard about this Richard Mason thing. Is it true? News travels fast in a small town. It's true. Holy cow, Dad. 125 million. I mean, that's incredible. There was something in his voice I'd never heard before. Not excitement, exactly. More like hunger. Listen, he continued. Stephanie and I feel terrible about the other day. We were stressed, said some things we didn't mean. We'd love to have you over for dinner to celebrate and, well, to apologize properly. 24 hours ago, these same people told me I needed to learn independence. Now they wanted to celebrate. That's generous of you. Of course, your family, Dad. Family's the most important thing. I hung up and sat in my new hotel suite, upgraded, now that I could afford it, thinking about everything that had happened. 2 days later, I went to that dinner, but not for the reasons they expected. I arrived at exactly 6 p.m. with a bottle of wine. Nothing expensive, I was curious if they'd notice. Stephanie answered the door wearing a dress I'd never seen before, hugging me like we were best friends. Doug, come in, we have so much to catch up on. The house looked different, cleaner, more organized, like they'd spent hours preparing for an important guest. The dining table was set with their good china. Brad appeared from the kitchen with a huge grin. Dad, can I get you something to drink? We sat in the living room making small talk. They kept glancing at each other with those married couple looks. So Brad finally said, "This inheritance thing, what are your plans? Haven't decided yet." Another look between them. Dad, Brad continued, before we go any further, I need to apologize for the other day. We handled that terribly. We were just so stressed, Stephanie added, and we thought, tough love might help you bounce back faster. We've always believed in you, Brad said. You raised me to be strong and independent. We were just trying to honor that. I nodded. Family's important. They both relaxed visibly. Dinner was elaborate. Steaks, expensive wine, all my supposed favorite foods. They asked about my plans, offered suggestions about investments. Stephanie mentioned some charities she supported. After dinner, Stephanie brought out photo albums. Look at this, she said, showing me pictures from Brad's childhood. We've always been such a close family. I know we haven't been as close lately, Brad said. Life gets busy, but at the end of the day, we're family. That's what matters. I set down my coffee and smiled at them. You're absolutely right. Family is everything. So we're okay? Stephanie asked, hopefully. Oh, we're fine, I said. In fact, I have something for you. I reached into my jacket and pulled out 2 envelopes. What's this? Brad asked. Open them. They each contained a cashier's check for $10,000. Dad, what's this for? It's a gift. From someone who understands what it's like to struggle financially. They looked confused. We're not struggling, Brad said. I pulled out a folder and set it on the coffee table. Actually, you are $84,000 in debt. 3 months behind on your mortgage. The color drained from their faces. How do you know that? Brad whispered. The same way I know about the conversation you had planning this reconciliation. The same way I know you've been researching my finances for 2 years. I stood up and buttoned my jacket. The checks are yours to keep. Consider it payment for a valuable lesson. What lesson? Stephanie asked. That your father isn't stupid. And that kindness has to be genuine to mean anything. Brad stood up, panic in his eyes. Dad, wait. We can work this out. There's nothing to work out, son. You made your choice when I needed help. I'm making mine now. But we're family, Stephanie said, tears in her eyes. Family helps each other. I said quietly. Family doesn't calculate the cost of love. I walked to the door. Take care of yourselves now. I know what you're thinking. That was it. Just walk away. Part of me wanted to stay and fight, to make them understand what they'd done. But I'd learned something important from Richard Mason. Sometimes the best revenge is just living well without the people who don't deserve you. The weeks that followed weren't easy. I'll be honest. There were nights I'd lie in my new house. Nothing fancy but mine. Paid for in cash and wonder if I'd done the right thing. Brad called a few times. Left voicemails I didn't return. Part of me missed him, missed the idea of him anyway. But then I'd remember that recording. That's his problem to solve. And I'd know I'd made the right choice. I kept Richard's businesses running, hiring good people to manage what I didn't understand. Turned out I was pretty good at the people part of business. Maybe all those years on construction sites dealing with contractors and workers had taught me something about managing folks. I also started a small foundation to help tradesmen who'd lost their businesses. Guys like me who'd worked hard all their lives and deserved better than sleeping in their cars. We'd give them small loans, help them get back on their feet. No questions asked. No lectures about financial responsibility. One day, about 4 months after that dinner, I was at the hardware store picking up supplies for a project when I ran into Stephanie. She was by herself, looked tired. "Doug," she said. "How are you?" "I'm doing all right, Stephanie. How about you?" She hesitated. "We're getting divorced." I wasn't surprised, but it still hit me. "I'm sorry to hear that." "I found out about the recordings," she said. "About what Brad really said about you. I confronted him about it, and well, he said some things I can't forgive. I'm sorry you got caught up in all this." She wiped her eyes. "You know what the worst part is? You were always good to me. Even when I went along with pushing you away, you never said a harsh word about me. That's not the kind of man I thought I married. Brad's not a bad person, Stephanie. He's just never learned that money can't buy you the things that really matter. Maybe not, but it's too late now." She paused. "I heard about your foundation, helping people get back on their feet. That sounds like something you'd do. Just paying it forward." Well, for what it's worth, I think Richard Mason chose the right person. I watched her walk away and felt something I hadn't expected. Not satisfaction, exactly, but a kind of peace. Brad had lost more than money. He'd lost a good woman who might have helped him become a better man. That wasn't my fault or my responsibility to fix. 6 months after that night in my car behind Murphy's Diner, I was sitting on my deck watching the sunset over the lake. I had a nice house now, nothing too fancy but comfortable. More importantly, I had something I hadn't had in years, peace of mind. My phone rang. Unknown number, but I answered it anyway. "Mr. Kennedy? This is Tom Wilson. I got your number from the Veterans Center. They said you might be able to help me. I lost my electrical business last month and I'm about to lose my house. I don't know where else to turn. Tell me about it, Tom." As I listened to his story, lawsuit, insurance company backing out, family troubles, I found myself thinking about that night 8 years ago when I pulled a stranger out of a creek. How one moment of doing the right thing had changed everything. "Tom," I said when he finished, "can you meet me tomorrow morning? I think we can work something out." You see, I'd finally figured out what Richard Mason knew all along. The best way to honor a gift isn't to hoard it or waste it on people who don't appreciate it. It's to pass it on to someone who needs it. Someone who'll use it to build something good. That's the thing about real family. It's not about blood or obligation. It's about people who show up when it matters, who risk something for you without calculating what they'll get back. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you get to be that person for someone else. Look, I know some of you watching this have your own Brad in your life. Maybe it's a kid who only calls when they need money, or a relative who treats you like an inconvenience. Here's what I learned. You can't change people who don't want to change, but you can choose who gets your time, your energy, and your love. Life's too short to waste it on people who see you as a burden instead of a blessing. Find your real family, the people who value you for who you are, not what you can give them, and when someone shows you genuine kindness, pay it forward. That's how you build a legacy worth having.